Margot and Kirsten.
Don't you just love a good yummy cupcake?
My favorite type is cookies and cream.
I just love cupcakes.
They're so good.
Join us to try, rate, and give tips to make these delicious treats at home.
Today we're going to do a special on cookies and cream cupcakes!
Yay!
Hey there, listeners. We have some exciting news for you from our awesome friends at the Birmingham Education Foundation, or BEF for short. You may have heard about the cool projects and fun learning experiences happening right here at BCS. And guess what? A lot of that is possible thanks to the BEF.
That's right. The BEF is all about making school even better. They help fund projects in arts, academics, STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, and math. Plus, character education and mental health. Imagine having experts visit our classrooms or going on field trips with unique experiences. All these opportunities happen because of the BEF. Is there to support our learning.
You might even be wondering, why does a public school need a foundation? Good question. Even though the Birmingham Public Schools is one of the top districts in Michigan, funding is a challenge because we're broke. Since the 1990s, inflation has gone up, but the funding per student hasn't kept pace. That's where the BEF steps in. Their fundraising helps cover projects and programs and resources that might otherwise be out of reach.
So when you see a project that makes you think, whoa, that's awesome, there's a good chance the BEF played a part. So they fund pilot programs, buy important equipment, bring in resources that make learning fun and impactful.
So thank you to the BEF for supporting Mr. Nepa and Mr. McLeod's classrooms to do so many fun projects. We get to do a lot of hands-on experiences and make a difference in how we learn and grow.
And remember, support of the BEF is all about making sure we have the best learning experience possible. So let's give a big shout out to the Birmingham Education Foundation
for making our learning awesome, one grant at a time.
Yeah, BEF!
We're going to start with the base of the cupcakes. We're doing a chocolate cupcake base. So here's the ingredients you're going to need. You're going to need a cup of flour and a cup of sugar, 6 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder, make sure it's unsweetened, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 egg, half a cup of milk or buttermilk, whatever you prefer, half a cup of vegetable oil, 3/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and half a cup of hot water.
What is having buttermilk instead of regular milk due to the cupcakes?
The buttermilk just adds to the tenderness of the cupcakes, but there isn't much of a difference, so whatever you have at home works.
All right, thanks. Here's the recipe, Kristen.
So, now here's the recipe. So first, preheat the oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit because it could take a while, and prepare a cupcake pan with cupcake liners. This should make about 15 cupcakes. Alright, so then combine the flour, sugar, cocoa powder, baking soda, and salt to a large mixing bowl and mix it until it's fully mixed. And then set that aside and add the egg, milk, and vegetable oil and also vanilla extract to another bowl and just whisk it until it's all combined. It might take a while because you have to combine the oil with everything, and sometimes that takes a while. Alright, then add the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients and mix super fast on super high because it has to be the perfect consistency for the cupcakes. Okay, now add some water to the batter because it'll be too thick until you add the water, and that thins it out if needed though. For me and Margot's that we made it was a little thick, so we had to add the water, but if it's more thin, then you won't need it. Okay, now fill the cupcake liners about halfway because they're going to rise, and bake it for 18 to 23 minutes, and just stick a toothpick in, and if it still has gooey wet stuff, then keep cooking it, but if it doesn't, then you're good to go. And then remove the cupcakes from the oven and let them cool for about 5 minutes, because you don't want them to be too warm and crumbly.
You give the cupcakes a lot of time to cool, even more than you may think they need, because if you do it when they're too hot, they're just going to crumble.
Let's hear the cupcake frosting recipe. So, Margot, what are the ingredients you're going to need?
I'll tell ya. So, for the frosting, you're going to need 20 whole Oreos, 2 cups of unsalted butter at room temperature, which is 4 sticks, 6 cups of confectioner sugar, milk or cream, and 20 whole Oreo cookies for the toppings, and 6 crushed Oreo shells for the toppings.
Why do you need so many Oreos?
Well, as you'll see later, the frosting is so much of the Oreos, and you use not only the shells to add that cookies and cream look, but you also use the inside of the Oreos to add that creamy flavor. And the 20 other ones are just for putting one on top. That's an optional step, but I really think it makes it look super cute.
It does.
So, first you need to separate the Oreo cookies, 20 of them. You need to separate them from shell and from icing.
You're going to put it in a separate bowl.
Yeah, so one bowl has the cookies and cream shell and one has the inside. So my personal way to do this is to twist it and pull it apart to try and get the smoothest cut, and then use a knife to scrape off the butter, cream, the little icing if there's any left. So once you do that, you're going to add the cookie shells into a food processor and process until the crumbs are like little dust.
Like sands almost.
Yeah. Then you're going to set that aside. And then in the bowl of an electric mixer, like the ones that come down, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Combine the butter, the Oreo cream centers, and the sugar. Beat that on medium-low until combined. And after a while, you need to increase the speed a bunch so that it gets that frosting
And you
texture.
add milk if it needs, right?
Yeah, you add milk if it's too dry or maybe too thick.
Yeah.
Okay. Then beat for 5 minutes, about how long you're going to need to get that buttercream texture, and then add the Oreo crumbs to the buttercream.
Yeah.
Mix it a little bit, but probably with a spatula because you don't want to mess with the texture. So then, about 15 seconds. Then you want to scrape down the bowl with a spatula and fold in any pockets of crumbs, make sure it's all mixed up, and then transfer the buttercream into a large piping bag. And so, if you don't have a piping bag, which we actually didn't, you can just take a Ziploc bag and cut the corner and then use that as a piping bag. It works really well.
Yep, and then
It's
you
basically
stick the Oreo right on top.
Yeah, ice
And
the
that
cupcakes.
just makes it look really pretty.
Yeah, just ice the cupcakes in a little triangle way and then stick the cupcakes on top.
But first, me and Margot both have a couple tips to share.
So when you're putting the cookie crumbs in the food processor, it's really important to make sure there's no chunks. Otherwise, your buttercream's going to get messed up. You want it to be a very fine sand. So maybe wash your hands and just run your fingers through it a little bit to see if there's any chunks.
One tip I have for the butter is to put the butter in your pan slightly, just like this, to help heat it up because the human body is warm. So then you don't have to melt it in the microwave because that will totally ruin the texture.
And make sure that you swab the sides so that each side gets heated.
Yep.
My favorite part.
It's time to try them.
Yay!
Alright guys, it's time to try these delicious cupcakes.
You can go first. Actually, yeah.
We'll both try them.
I'm going to start with the Oreo.
This is the chocolate base. Then you have some Oreo frosting. And then this delicious Oreo on top.
You can see where all the Oreo crumbs are and the icing.
The icing is so good. Usually I hate for any frosting, but this is delicious.
So, normally, you would really want to make sure that if you put the Oreos on top, it's a lot better to serve the day of because they can get kind of soggy sitting in the icing.
I'm going to save the Oreo for last.
Oh God, it's so good.
You're right, though, about the soggy part, but it's still delicious.
Of
I
course.
love Oreos.
How much do you rate it?
So, here's what I think about it. So, the chocolate cupcake part is so delicious. It's so moist, the perfect consistency, and it's such a good flavor. I just love chocolate. The Oreo buttercream is literally delicious. It's definitely the best part. I cannot stop eating this. It's so yummy. And don't worry if it's looking white because it turns blackish gray once you add the Oreo crumbs. Anyways, the frosting is just so yummy. And the Oreo on top just adds a nice touch.
I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. This is so yummy.
What do you think?
This chocolate base is perfect, and I'm a chocolate lover. And the Oreo cookies and cream may be a little bit too sweet for some people. Warning.
But not for me.
It's perfect for me.
Yeah, I'll give this 100 out of 10.
So yummy. Oh my gosh.
Seriously, it's so good. I am not a big frosting person. I'll be like, ew, this is way too sweet. Get this away from me. But this is just yummy. I hope you guys enjoyed this special recipe and have fun making it at home. That's all for today. See you next week.